I know.
I know I'm excited because I see an Arataki Ito in the audience.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we should talk about who we play in Genshin. So I play the deputy leader of the Arataki gang, Miss Cookie Shinobu.
Play a certain merchant, Doreen.
She hasn't spoken to you already, she will.
And I have a lot of fun working with all the amazing playable characters. One being Kudari, a part of the Academia in Sumeru, and Zulashur, a part of Beto's ship. Yeah! I can tell you what the weather for like 8 hours. It's good.
Let me know if you're
Yeah, so if you have a question, let's keep it family friendly, but yeah, if you want to raise your hand up high.
How many tennis balls have you been to the boys' team?
1,000.
That answer.
Yep. At least 10, so it's great.
What makes you want to become a voice actor or actress?
Yeah, I can go down. I can start here. Funny enough, I've been acting since I was 6 years old. So it's been like 22 years. And I started as a child actor in a boy band. If y'all are familiar with Ross Litch from Austin Alley and Sabrina, I was in a boy band with him for 2 years. Yeah. Woo! You can find the video, deep search. You have to look at my old stage name. It was like AJ King. It was great. And then once I did that, I was a singer. I've been a trained musician my whole life. And I went to high school and college for musical theater. And right before I graduated high school, though, a friend of mine was like, "You should try voice acting because you have this like youthful tone, so you can play like the anime and like protagonists and whatever." And you know, my voice hasn't changed since I was 12, so that makes sense. And so I was like, okay, we'll see. And then I just got hooked, and like I think 4 years into just doing indie games and projects online, Chris Rager with Funimation at the time was like, "You have a demo reel?" And I said, "Yeah." And I sent it to him. He sent it off to Funimation. They're like, "You should move to Texas." And I was like, "That's funny." I was like, never in my life growing up on the West Coast. I was like, "Yeah, Texas, yeah." And then like a year later, I was like, maybe I'm gonna move to Texas, and I did. So, and then after that, I started working on my first anime project was All Out, the rugby anime, and then I worked on One Piece. And then my first name role was a Junji Ito collection, and the rest is 11 years later, I've been doing voiceover. So, yeah.
We're gonna be on YouTube later. Look up.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link.
Oh my god. I get started. It was entirely by accident because I started acting when I was 6. I didn't start acting until I was like 20, which is not that long ago. But it was entirely by accident. A friend of mine was into podcasts, and I was like, I like podcasts. I can help you out. And I was in some audio dramas, and it kind of just spiraled because I fixate on things that I like, and then I go crazy over it. And that happened with voice acting, and all of a sudden I was taking all these classes and getting really into it. And I was like, this is a fun hobby, bless you. And then it wasn't a hobby anymore. And suddenly I was like, I think I want to do this. I think I love this. That's insane. Just spiraled and spiraled, and I guess now I'm doing it as a career, which is great. Incredibly grateful, but sometimes your passion hits you from behind. Never acceptable.
See, everyone has these cool stories about what inspired them. I just decided, like, I like anime and video games. I want to be in them when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I did stuff on the internet for like 10 years, but yeah.
If you guys can main any character in Genshin that isn't the characters you voice acted, who would it be?
Ito?
I'm gonna third that. Good detail for me.
It's just running
Put you
over.
to work.
Get your stops.
So this question's actually for Kira. I know you probably don't remember me, but we met like 10 years ago at a first con, Las Vegas Con. And you've been my voice actress inspiration since then. I did a radio drama for My Little Pony specifically, and you've just been like a huge inspiration to me. My question is, if you could go back and voice or change the way that you voiced a certain character,
Like if I could redo an old role, basically.
yeah, if you could redo an old role, what would your character be? What would you want to do?
That's really hard. There's definitely a lot of things that I did early on in my career where it's like looking back, like, oh, I'm a better actor now. I think I could do a better job at that. I mean, even like 2B from Nier Automata, because I feel like I wasn't used to getting cast as that archetype when I was first cast as her. So it was like a little bit challenging. But now that I feel like I've played a lot of characters like that, and I'm just like, you know, I've improved as an actor obviously since 2017 when that came out. So sometimes I think it would be fun to go back and revisit that. But I'm lucky that for the anime and for some of the crossovers like Soul Calibur, I actually got to.
Out of all the characters you voice, like what was your favorite lines or like idol like things to voice or like do? From like not like just in Genshin, like in other shows and stuff. Like, what was your favorite line?
So you said favorite lines or like monologues from the character that we've done? I have a really fun character in a show called Horimiya. Yeah, woo! And Tanihara is such a tragic boy. He's got a lot of problems and he's got a lot of issues that he needs to deal with himself. And his whole episode where he kind of like reflects on his past and why he kind of bullies Miyamura is like one of my favorite moments that I cherish because Caitlin Glass, who directed that, it was like right at the beginning of 2021, so everybody was like locked in still. We were all kind of barely going into studio. If we were, it was just one of us in a booth by ourselves, and everyone else was on Zoom. And I remember the episode, I said, I want to be in studio for this because I don't want any distractions, because I just kind of want to be there. And I'm in this little booth at Funimation, and Caitlin's on the other line, and I deliver this line. He's on the phone, and he says, out of nowhere, he was talking to his friend Shinjo, and he says, the bunnies always liked him better. I never understood why. And I just remember saying it like that, and she was like, you know what, let's try it with like an exhale where there's like no air in your voice. And I was like, okay, the musical theater in me was like, let's not do this. But I was like, we're gonna do it, and figure it out. And I remember it came out, and it's just always stuck with me because after this, I went, the bunnies always liked her more. I never understood why. And I remember that we watched it back, and Caitlin just goes, you're such a great actor. And I was like crying in this booth by myself, and I was like, thank you so much, just tears streaming down my face. Because it was like the first bit of validation that I got from someone that I grew up listening to and like looked up to, and to be told that like, number one, that entire dub was made of just POC people, so that was like amazing. Every single named character had a person of color in the title, so that was fantastic. And so doing that show already was like validating for me because I was like, I'm a part of something really cool. And then just to get validation like that, that line just sticks with me just because of that. So that would be my most I always feel like I ramble too, so I'm like, that's it. Yep.
No, you're good. I was on, this is a recent one actually. I was on the show Trails of Cold Steel, where I played this character named Divisaria. At one point, we snuck in a little she like arrives on the scene and she does a, I am here. And that was my favorite. I was like, I can't believe we got away with this, but it was great.
I will choose a Genshin line just because this is a Genshin panel, so why not? If the Arataki gang stirs up any trouble, I'll drag every last one of them back to apologize.
Hi, hello. I was wondering if you guys had like any like silly goofy booth stories you'd like to share with us. Like fun, funny booth stories, recording session stories.
Yeah. I think Tomodachi Game was pretty fun to record. No, I take that back. My favorite booth story still has to be IQ. Because so Komenagawa, if y'all know, he's like the golden retriever of volleyball, and all of his lines had such big, like over-the-top energy that me and Kyle Jones were just laughing in the booth. And there's one line where I have to be super serious about it, but also still come off as that like golden retriever. And he's talking to Kageyama about his nails, and he's like, "Dude," he's like, "Kageyama, you have to tell me about your nail care, man." And he's like, "Do you like keep them clean, and how do you keep them from breaking? Because every time I hit a ball, they always like fall apart." And I just remember we were laughing because I couldn't keep a straight face the whole time. Because I'm just thinking this kid is literally just like, "Tell me about your nails." And then of course Kageyama goes, "Yeah, I just wrap them and I do this." And he's just like taking notes. He's like, "I'm gonna do that every night from now on." And then Goshi comes in, he's like, "Yeah, you can try." And he's like, "Shut up!" That show's dub is so funny. If you've never watched the dub of Haikyuu, it is so unhinged that like being a part of an unhinged dub like that, it was just so much fun every time in the movie. So I could always be silly.
I play a lot of serious characters, so I feel like there's just not a lot of opportunity for moments like that. But I do have, if I can kind of answer with something similar, I do have like a funny Genshin story that happened recently. Not like recording, but just playing. Because I stream on Twitch, for anyone who doesn't know. I'm a VTuber as of recently too. So.
Yes!
But anyway, I was real excited for the last update because I wanted to pull on Nahida. I run a lot of Hyper Bloom teams, so I'm like, I'm going to pull on the Nahida banner, so I did that, and then I was going to pull on the weapon banner for the first time. Everyone warned me about what a money sink that was. And so I was like pulling and pulling on it, and then I lost my 50-50 and got Nahida's weapon, but I wanted Milu's weapon for Kuki Shinobu, right? So I was like, okay, so I went and like refilled, and then I was like, I'm gonna do another 10 pull, and then because I wanted Milu's weapon, my mind just like was like, okay, Milu's banner, and then I did a 10 pull, and then from that 10 pull that I did on the wrong banner on accident, I C6'd Kuki Shinobu.
That feeling when someone asks you your favorite song and you forget every song you've ever heard in your life.
Oh, I actually have. What was it like doing the Mora song?
It was crazy. I had no idea what the other ones sounded like. And afterwards, when I heard them, I was like, dang, this sounds different. But they were like, just come up with something. And I was like, okay, I guess I will. And I did that. That's my story.
Do you have like a favorite character that you voiced?
Oh, repeat that?
I'm sorry, we didn't hear the question. Who asked the question?
Do you have a favorite character that you voiced before?
Of anything ever?
Yeah.
Jolene from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's funny because like everyone's like, I know you couldn't pick a favorite child. I'm like, nah, Jolene.
Ask Kira that question before getting cast as Jolene. Maybe it would have been something different. Anything you ask from now on is probably going to be Jolene.
Well, I want to ask, what was your answer before?
Before that, I think I would generally say 2B just because that was a role that was like really special for my career and very iconic.
Oh gosh, mine is, well, I feel like this is special to me for a different reason, but it was the first credit I ever had. I was in this teensy little game out of the UK, and it was the most emotional. It was about this woman who had dementia.
dementia. I was following her life through all of her memories, and I played that main character. And it was the little game that could, because it ended up getting nominated for a BAFTA. And
I am so proud of that little game, even though it was my first credit. I've grown since then, but man, I love that. It was an amazing experience.
My answer changes so much because they are all my children, and it's hard to pick a favorite child. But honestly, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, working on a Borderlands game was kind of cool because how it happened, like Joel McDonald emailed me, he's like, hey, I have this little thing I need you to do. You're going to be a pirate. And I was like, cool, pirates. And then I was like, well, it's Gearbox, so that's like one of two things it could really be. And then I had heard like whisperings about Wonderlands, and I went into the booth and Jamie Markey directed me. She's like, so I'm gonna tell you about the game. I was like, cool. And so I'm like ready. I'm like, okay, it's Borderlands. And she was like, so you know how there was like the Assault on Dragon Keep DLC? So we're making that an entire game. And I was like, oh, cool. And then she started listing off people who were involved, and it was like, yeah, you know, we have like, you know, right. So it started out with like, yeah, Mary Andell and Ken Williams are like gay pirates, and that's who you kill in the game. And then they were like, yeah, and then Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, and I was like Wanda Sykes, and there's like Will Arnett, and I was like, wait, what? And then she's like, yeah, it's bigger than what you think it might be, and getting to play this big pirate boss who gets like turned into a Moana crab is pretty cool.
The game is literally insane.
If you've not played Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, if you love Dungeons and Dragons and Borderlands, it's literally both combined. And it's so fun, and it was like one of my most amazing things is a week later was E3, and they announced Wonderlands. And so I'm sitting at home being like, I'm in the game. And I couldn't say anything until it came out, of course, but it was so cool, and that's like a good memory of mine, because it was just really different for me, being like really rough and over the top, so it was awesome.
Who do you guys main Genshin Impact? Cookie Shinobu, of course. My usual team with her these days is Nikita, since I just got her. I'll Hate Them is my DPS, and Shincho.
I think Kira's the only one out of us that is like a major player.
I will say though, I also have a VTuber maid waiting in the background, and I've been planning on streaming Genshin with it.
So soon?
Yeah, so I could meet anyone who would be Ito, so that's who it would be. So that's what I'm hoping for right out the gate. Yes, to give it like duh.
Where gets your steps in?
Yeah, these Pikmin don't catch themselves.
What's your favorite anime?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I'm shocked.
What? No.
Never would have guessed. I think probably the first I ever watched, which happened to be Detective Conan. I think and it will follow me until I die. I think it'll end before. Pretty sure it's gonna outlive me.
Yeah. I would say it's tied between two I have really they're close to my heart. First one, tattooed right on my chest, is Naruto. Love Naruto. And then actually my favorite anime that I will answer most of the time is Fooly Cooly, or FLCL. Good old FLCL unhinged magic. I just have memories of watching it on Toonami like every once in a blue moon, and just that's the one we'd gather, like have a sleepover and be like, that's the show that's animated me. So yeah, probably that would be my second.
Do you have a favorite book series?
The voice actors who don't read. All of us.
Is it terrible to say Percy Jackson?
So fun fact about Percy Jackson. So a friend of
I
mine.
met Logan Norman.
No, I didn't. No. Could you imagine? No, I wasn't. No, I'm not gonna. Actually, funny enough, a friend of mine was doing an audio series for Percy Jackson, and I played Grover. And it got to a point where people started bringing me Grover stuff to sign, and I was like, I don't know if I like. No, please, we love you in the audio series. And they had listened to it, so I guess like technically, Percy Jackson's what I was gonna say. So yeah, I would say that for many reasons.
I'm a little too excited for this new show. I'm so
Me
excited.
too.